It was an announcement that changed the political landscape in Washington.
Betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, once reluctant to start impeachment proceedings, changed her mind after a transcript of a call between President Donald Trump and President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine was released. President Trump now stands accused of abusing his power, undermining national security, and inviting a foreign power to interfere in U.S. elections. Senior Democrats on the Intelligence Committee say the Trump administration won't be doing itself any favors if it doesn't cooperate.
Will the White House fight us on this? I have to imagine they're going to fight us tooth and nail. And yet, even as they do, the more that they fight to try to prevent and obstruct the lawful functions of Congress, the more they're going to make a case for impeachment on obstruction of justice of Congress.
Republicans are now rallying behind their embattled president, saying Donald Trump was duty-bound to press the Ukrainians to look into allegations about Joe Biden's son Hunter and his dealings with a Ukrainian energy company. Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, himself an important player in the scandal, is likely to be called before House Democrats.
If he decides that he wants me to testify, of course I'll testify, even though I think Adam Schiff is an illegitimate chairman. He has already prejudged the case. If we want fairness here, we've got to put somebody in charge of that committee who has an open mind.
Impeachment proceedings are now moving at a pace that neither the Republican Party nor President Trump can control. At the heart of all this is a report from a so-called whistleblower, deemed credible by the acting director of National Intelligence. It's thought he or she may appear behind closed doors soon.
You want to ask who won today?
For both parties, the stakes couldn't be higher. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the president's closest allies, says the accusations are second-hand lies.
It's all hearsay. You can't get a parking ticket conviction based on hearsay. The whistleblower didn't hear the phone call.
Right.
Who told the whistleblower about the phone call and everything else?
He says
Donald Trump is a skilled
American.
American. Every American deserves to confront their accuser. So this is a sham.
What's going on now is the single greatest scam.
President Trump is now in the fight of his political career and says the proceedings are a hoax. Democrats say Trump's own words from his phone call with the Ukrainian leader, in which he says, "Do me a favor, though," are a clear violation of the law. Andy Gallacher, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Well, let's go straight to Patty Culhane, who's live for us in Washington, D.C. Firstly, Patty, it appears, at least on the surface, that support for impeachment is growing in pace.
It is, according to the polls. And keep in mind, this has been just a matter of days, and the entire universe of Washington, D.C. has changed since we saw the Democrats come out and say that they were going to pursue an impeachment inquiry. So we're seeing just the first polls starting to come out, and the latest one comes from CBS Network News. 55% of Americans that they asked approve of looking into this matter. Now, one of the bigger numbers I took out of that is it's a very partisan divide. Democrats overwhelmingly want this to happen. Republicans, not so much. But the president in polls has remained incredibly popular with his core base of Republicans. But according to this poll, at least 23% of those Republicans say this needs to be looked into. That could spell problems for the president, which is perhaps what's a little bit behind this tweet storm of his this evening.
And Patty, specifically talking about those tweets, he's talking about wanting to meet his accuser. What more can you tell us about this and his other latest tweets?
Well, let's start with wanting to meet his accuser, because every American can do that, but he's not every American. He's the president of the United States. This isn't a criminal trial. This person came forward under the whistleblower statute, which means that person is protected. So the president can say he gets to face his accuser. Yeah, that's not how this works. Although it is believed that they are really close to finalizing the deal, if they haven't already done it, with his attorneys, to be able to speak with him in private. Members of Congress like to leak. So chances are likely that this person's identity is going to come out. The other thing that the president said is that Adam Schiff lied on the House when he summarized his conversation. He wants him tried for treason. This is something the president keeps talking about, this matter. That's a really serious thing. Treason can come with the death penalty. And he also said that this was hearsay and that the whistleblower didn't actually say what the conversation was accurately. But here's the thing. The president's White House released basically a draft of what was in the conversation. It exactly mirrors what the whistleblower said in his statement. So the president trying to spin, the president obviously very spun up, but he can't stop this. It's moving forward. Very important people are going to be deposed this week in Washington, and we're going to know a lot more. So if you thought the last couple of days were fast, just give it a minute.
I'm sure you're going to be watching it very closely indeed. Patty Culhane, live in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much.